chef instructor at St. Louis University in the Department of Nutrition and Dietetics, and I am the owner of Mofu, a local tofu company. So my passion for food began at a very young age. At one point in time, I realized that I was figuring out what I wanted to do in life, and I realized that pursuing culinary is a realistic career. Went to culinary school for 4 years and then did a dietetic internship and completed my master's degree here at St. Louis University. And shortly after that, I started working here at SLU. At the same time, I was starting my business, and that's been going for a little over 6 years now. We've definitely increased the amount of business we do year after year. It's cool. It's a great vehicle for me to be involved in the local community. Most of our accounts through Mofu are restaurants. It serves as a catalyst for me connecting with different chefs and people in the food scene. It connects Fresh Gatherings to a much larger food scene than a university cafe would typically have access to. When I was in graduate school here, I took a class called gastronomy. I had a research question that was, what would global flavors be like in St. Louis if we were to exclusively use local ingredients? I started making my own pantry and quickly realized, because there's certain spices and things that don't grow here and there's really no way to replicate that, I decided to focus on the Asian pantry because it was the most unique, and I realized that like a lot of the same ingredients grow here. So I started making sake. I used the sake to make rice wine vinegar, rice noodles, miso, tempeh, soy milk, soy sauce, and I made tofu. And when I made the tofu, it was way different than any experience I'd ever had with it. So it was kind of like a wow moment, if you will. And so I kept perfecting it. I made it maybe 30 times before I shared it with anybody. And then I gave it to a chef friend of mine at Schlafly Bottle Works, and like an hour later he called me back and said it was like the most amazing thing he's ever had and wanted to start buying it for the restaurant. Within a couple of days I was making deliveries to his restaurant. And then since then we do business with we have over 30 accounts. I think it's a really interesting question. Being a dietitian, it sort of gives you, it's like a credential, and like says that you've had so much education and have like a certain level of knowledge to be making statements about food. As a chef, I feel that my background as a dietitian allows me to like be critical in a certain way of the food that I'm preparing, and it's like a reference point. If I'm making a dish, then I'm always going to reference it off like, well, like as a dietitian, like how do I feel about this? And that could mean a lot of things. It could mean how you're sourcing the food, the ingredients, because typically you're spending more money on that stuff and you want to know that it's being taken care of the right way. But also it has to do with like how you develop a philosophy around food. My personal philosophy is that if you're using high quality ingredients, then your job is to more highlight that ingredient and to show it off and what's special about it versus trying to make it something that it isn't. I think it's a challenge. I think they have the wherewithal and like the capacity and the money to invest into that type of operation. I think if these companies start to like have this large footprint across the country, but then have these micro regions where they have like a forager, if you will, which is a term that Whole Foods uses, then you have this footprint of like farmers that you like can buy from, and it doesn't put them in a spot where they can't meet your demand. A huge part of my job here is working with local farmers. Consumers are really familiar with farmers markets as like a source. Typically, at least in an urban environment, that's how they connect with farmers and people who are raising produce. Not to say that people aren't growing stuff in the city, but that's like a very certain specific scale of farming. And it's still feasible for like a certain size company like Chipotle, for instance, to do business with them, knowing that they need to like be mindful about their capacity. The benefit of that is typically, one, it's a relationship. There's also the fact that like the quality is just typically like way higher. Those two things can like be a huge game changer. I also feel like if consumers are paying attention to that, and that's important, and like they also need to be asking questions and trying to be more informed, not just to like be a watchdog, but to really know and like build your knowledge and have more of a relationship with the food you're consuming. It's a pretty heavy question. I would say that to me, the answer of people having access to more healthy food is related to their ability to prepare it for themselves. That could mean having the resources to do that and like the wherewithal to spend money on stuff like that, but also just general access. Like it all comes down to making it a priority. Like at the same time, I understand that like some people can't afford, or like it's really difficult for them to prioritize that in their life. Like I don't know if I have a good answer for that. However, I do think it's really important, and I think that giving people access to food doesn't mean that they're going to have the skill set or the wherewithal to actually prepare it in a way where they're going to want to consume it. To me, that's where I feel like there needs to be some effort put in there.